Scrum is de facto standard. So future of Scrum, I don't know honestly. I think it is going to be a part of our DNA.
It's just my feeling. Maybe we lose the name of Scrum. Okay, maybe we have
Yeah,
other names for that, or an improved, version of it, or something like this. But at the end of the day, we will have empirical way of working. Hello, Hiren. Good afternoon. Welcome to your story this week, and I really appreciate having you today.
same here, Mehdi. And I'm going to do the same thing. We are going to also hear your story about what's happening with you. Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. We have made an agreement that this time we want to run this interview a little bit different. In fact, it will be a mutual friendly conversation. You will ask me some questions, and also I will ask you some questions to see what's going on inside the Scrum book. So
Absolutely.
hopefully it will be a great experience for our audience to hear from two trainers in a single interview. So let's get
Absolutely.
started. Are you ready, Ran?
Sure. I am very much ready, Mehdi. Let's get
Yeah,
started.
wonderful. So let me ask you the first question. Could you please tell us how you started your journey to become a PST?
Absolutely. It is a very, very interesting story, and I think you will love it, and I'm sure the audience will also
Sure.
love it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I was in US from 1998 all the way till 2010. I was in Massachusetts, and I was working for EMC Corporation. That was the company I used to work for. I have done multiple roles over there. I have been a developer, I have been a tester, I moved into project management, I was doing program management, and there was a need for us to rewrite an application, entire application. It was like multi-million dollar application. We had to rewrite it. The year is around 2006, 2007 timeframe is what we are
Uh-huh.
talking about. And one of my managers came to me and said, you know what, we are going to rewrite it and we are going to use something called Scrum. I'm like, what is Scrum? He says, well, that is a big buzz right now. Agile Scrum is a big thing and you might want to learn about it. So he gave me a black book written by Ken, Agile Project Management. I believe that's what with Scrum
Yeah.
is something that it says. I said, okay, fair enough. So I took the book, I read the book, and I said, you know what, I am the smartest person in the town. So it was very, very easy for me to understand it. So I read through it and I said, yeah, it's very easy. So we started practicing Scrum, the daily Scrum or daily stand up. That's what we used to call them. We had around 16 then. I was doing Scrum Master duties for few teams. And I really felt that I was doing amazing job. It is during the same time, Ken, he was based out of Burlington, Massachusetts, and I was based out of Hopkinton, Massachusetts. So Ken used to run the sessions called Scrum, but we
Uh-huh.
do Scrum, but we have this problem. We do Scrum, but we have this problem. So I said, okay, I'm doing Scrum. I'm doing so well. I think I should go and learn from him. So I started attending his sessions. I think he used to do it once a week. And I used to go and attend those sessions. Every time I attended the session, I came back disappointed. I'm like, what he is saying and what I'm doing does not make sense. So it felt every time, when it talks about self management, you have to let go. For me, I was just a project manager trying to be a scrum master because that's what I understood by reading the book. But when I started attending his sessions, uh, things started becoming even more unclear that, you know what, maybe there is some conflict over here. So I attended some sessions over there with my manager, and we both felt the same thing. And Ken was associated with Scrum Alliance then. Scrum.org was not born.
Yeah.
So Ken came and said, you know what, I'm going to offer this certified Scrum Master class. Anyone wants to attend it? And the pricing was for that was $2,500. Man, no man, I said, when Ken, I would like to attend it, but I don't think my company is going to sponsor it. And he said, you know what, I like you. Uh, you can come if you're willing to pay for the food and I'll certify you. You need to pay $200. I said, no kidding. I said, no. So I attended that session. I was in
Wow.
that session for 2 days. And that was like an eye opener that, oh my God, in the name of Scrum, I was doing everything but Scrum because I just did not understand Scrum the way it was supposed to be. So luckily, those learnings, I came back. and I started applying at my workplace. Uh, so things improved over there. So that was good. And in then 2010, I relocated back to India. So it was I came back to Mumbai. That's where I'm from. Uh, so when I came, I always knew that I'm going to look for some full-time job because that was the only thing I knew. And I never thought that I'm going to be a trainer. But my profile was out there because of the work that I did over there. It spoke about Agile Scrum. So in 2010, you can count the trainer coaches on your fingers. That were very few in India.
Yeah.
So I was just settling my house and everything. I said I'm going to give myself 2 months. And in that, one of the companies in Singapore, they called me and they said, you know what, we are looking at your profile and we are looking for a trainer and we want your support. I'm like, no, 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 I'm not a trainer. I said, okay, let's at least talk. Let's at least talk. I said, fair enough, let's talk. So we started talking, and they had so many problems. And in EMC, I had encountered all these problems, and there was like a connect. It was just a connect. And they said, we want you to come over and train us for 5 days. I said, no, no, you don't understand. I'm not a trainer. He says, no, you'll do fine. I'm like, wow, if the company is showing so much confidence, then I should do something. So I said, okay, fine, fair enough. And I started preparing some slides and stuff. I had some 30 odd slides that I prepared. And I called one of my colleagues in the US because he was one of the coaches who was training us. And I said, this is what I've prepared. What do you think? He says, Arey, you're going to train for 5 days. These 30 slides are going to exhaust in 2 hours. What will you do for the remaining 4.5 days? I'm like, that, what do you suggest? And then he told me, then you can make it some gamification and you can get into some retrospectives and lots of things. So I said, wow, interesting. And I took those advice. I flew to Singapore. I did the training for 5 days. I loved every minute of it. They loved everything that I had to say. And there was like just a connect. And I said, wow, I'm not looking back. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So that's how I got into this training space.
Mm.
So and after coming back, I started working with Tesco. Tesco was going through this, Tesco, the grocery giant out of UK. So they had this international program. They had to take the website live in 8 countries. So there was a company which had multiple coaches from all across the country and the world. So I met Simon Randall over there. Simon Randall
Mm.
from,
Yeah,
uh,
UK.
and he introduced me to Scrum.org. And he says,
Mm.
you know what, we are looking for some trainers in India. And there was not, I think I was the first trainer, or maybe there was one trainer before me, but he left to Netherlands. So I was the first trainer then. He introduced me to Scrum.org. He introduced me to Daphne. Uh, I went through the grind, and that's how I became trainer.
Oh.
So that
Which,
that's it. That's a,
which year was it? 2000?
I became in April of 2015. So it's
2000.
9 years and few months. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
2015, 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Loved it. Loved it.
Hey, what about you though, Mehdi? I know that you have been working on this for a while. So what was your journey like?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me tell my story. I have been working in the software industry for more than 20 years. First, I was a developer, and as we are supposed to be direct here, it was in 2012, 13, something like this, that we were working on a project, but we used to use waterfall approach. Okay.
Yeah.
And we got the initiative and we went to our cave, and we thought that we knew everything and we didn't
Mm-hmm.
need to check anything with our client. And we were in our cave for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
When we came back and approached our client, all of a sudden they told us that they don't want our product.
Mm-hmm.
It was a terrible failure, I should say.
Yeah.
Even I didn't know why we got that failure.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I lost a lot of things: my hope, my energy, my time, my money,
Oh, wow.
everything that I had.
Mm-hmm.
after a few months, when we had to stop our work, I decided to research to see what happened that we got that failure. And in that research, I got familiar with keywords like Agile and Scrum, and I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Why I didn't know such a thing? Okay. So
Yeah.
I started learning and studying these materials, and I realized that I really love it. I can be still in the software industry, which is my love, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And but in this category, in this pathway that is resonating with me.
Very nice.
So it was my turning point here. And
Mm-hmm.
since then, I have been working mostly as a Scrum Master with many companies and teams. And then it was 2017 that I started getting certification from Scrum.org. My first certification
Nice.
was 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and it was PSM1. And I realized that I love teaching a Scrum as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I started teaching Scrum without being a professional Scrum trainer. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
originally Iranian. So I started teaching Scrum in Iran market.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of new in my own country as well. So it was great. I realized, wow, there is a good market for that one. So
Mm-hmm.
I focused on that to give quality, classes and material to the market. And then I realized that there is a journey to become a PST.
Nice.
So it was in 2019 that I started my journey, and it took me 4 years, to be honest, 4 years
4 years.
to
Yeah.
be a PST, and it was late 2022 that I
Mm-hmm.
got the approval of Scrum.org. It was amazing journey, I should say, full of learnings,
Yeah.
also failures, but but
Absolutely.
but those failures were were empowering failures, I should say.
Very
And
true.
yeah, just as an example, I took PSM3 4 times, four
Mm-hmm.
times. And
Yeah.
but finally I could make it. And since then, no, before that, it was in the early 2022 that I relocated to the Netherlands. At the moment, I'm living in the Netherlands,
Mm-hmm.
and since then I teach official Scrum classes with the Scrum.org all around the world. Yeah, and I'm happy
Very,
about that one.
very nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah,
Excellent. So my journey also. So if you, because you told me how many times you wrote the PSM3, I wrote it twice.
twice.
I wrote it twice. Yeah, and it was very interesting for me, because when I wrote the first time, I failed big time. I thought I knew Scrum. I thought I'm so good at it. Uh, I took the class with Gunther. I flew to
Yeah,
Belgium.
yeah,
When this journey started, I flew to Belgium. I took the class with Gunther. I came back and I wrote it, and I got 72%. So the passing percentage then was 95%.
yeah, yeah.
So I was devastated. I'm like, what happened? How come I don't understand Scrum? I don't understand Scrum because I thought I knew Scrum. Maybe I don't understand it. So that also helped me write my book because I said, you know what? I'm going to take this as a challenge. I
Hmm.
took it as a challenge because there was not much documentation right now. Or if you have to become a trainer right now, there's plenty of good material out there. There's plenty of books, professional series books that have been written, and you'll understand it much better.
Yeah.
But when I did it then, this is about 2013, is when I wrote my assessment the first time. Uh, there was not many notes out there. There are not many notes out there. Uh, you had to really get into the depth to understand what empiricism meant. Yeah,
Mm.
what does self-organizing meant? Now that you're using the term self-management, all these terms were like not very easy to identify. What does transparency mean? What does inspection mean? What does adaptation mean? So I took it as a challenge. I said, you know what, I'm going to prepare this very, very well.
Mm.
And through that journey, I prepared my own notes. Yeah. Uh, And then when I wrote it the next time, I did quite well. I passed. And then I had all these notes that were sitting out there. I'm like, what do I do? I said, maybe it's a good time for me to give it back to the community. So let me take all these notes, put a short book out there,
Yeah.
and just make it available. Just make it available. And I'm so glad I made it because there are so many people, and I think people are finding a lot of help with that book.
Scrum
Yeah,
Insights.
it Scrum
Scrum.
Insights for practitioners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love
So
it.
that's how the book was born. Yeah, absolutely.
It was my question. What was the trigger that you decided to write that book? So you talked about it. But maybe another question about your book, Hiren. I see that you haven't updated anymore. Why?
I think I tried it multiple times, but I just love the book the way it is because there are some subtle changes like, development team has changed into developer, self-organizing has changed into self-management. There is addition of product goal. So I tried it multiple times and I said, you know what, this book stays true as is even today. So to support it, what I did was I put a short course on Udemy of 39 minutes, which is also a
Mm,
free course so that if people are interested to look into what are the changes, they can just review that course over there. So that's what I did. And now if you ask me, Mehdi, like the knowledge that I had then when I wrote the book in 2013 is when I started preparing. In 2016 when I published it, the year is 2024. I will rewrite the entire book in a different way. And I think there's lot more information I'd like to share with the community. So it has to be a different book or maybe add on to that book. It cannot be the same book, just
uh-huh.
tweaks and turns. So that's what I'm thinking right now. And hopefully I'll work on that. Hopefully I'll work on that.
Yeah, why not? I think our community needs such a thing, you know. Even they
Yeah,
are valid still. People always like to have fresh things, you know.
absolutely.
Let's be
Absolutely.
honest here about it. So, yeah, why not? I think it is our responsibility to enrich the community by sharing new things because our level of awareness is higher than, for example, 10 years ago. So let's
Yeah.
write something new with this level of awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And if you have to write it now, right now with your experience that you have on Scrum, what are some challenges that you see, maybe in the
Yeah,
current era that we are living in
yeah,
with
yeah,
respect to Scrum, with respect to the corporate, the transformation? What are you seeing right now?
yeah. Okay. Um, I just want to mention a specific thing here because I have been thinking of something new with this regard, specifically for people who are completely new to Scrum. When they want to start their journey in Scrum, they don't know where they should start. Let's be honest, there are a lot of content on the internet all around the world and with a range of low quality to high quality content. But how newcomers should understand which content they should use or rely on, there isn't a
Yeah.
reliable process for that. So I have
Hmm.
made a decision to develop a foundational course
Hmm.
named Scrum Starter.
Scrum
Scrum,
starter. Very nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
Scrum Starter for just people who want to start their Scrum journey. Okay,
Hmm.
with the most accurate language of professional Scrum, not superficial Scrum.
Hmm.
Mm?
Hmm.
And I think it is something that can be valuable for the people who want to live their professional life in the Scrum world. Okay. So
Yeah.
these days, even we have released part of this course, and we have a website for that one. I will share it on below this video on
Hmm.
YouTube. Okay. So maybe or probably after creating this course, it can be a book. Why not?
Very nice. Very
Because
good.
because
Very
we
good.
have the content. I have created the content. So just you need
Hmm.
to, shuffle it or organize it in a book, style, then you can release it. So this is my plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very, very nice. I like it. I like it. Please share the link with me also. I'll also
Thank,
review it and give my comments for sure.
thank you so much,
Yeah.
Hiren.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What else do you have?
uh, what else? Maybe another question that I really like to ask you is about one of our courses with the Scrum.org, about APS-SD, applying
Yeah.
professional Scrum for software development. We know
Yeah.
that generally there are more developers in Scrum teams compared to a Scrum Master and product owner. But
Correct.
let's be honest here. The number of people who take this class, APS-SD, are not as what we expect to have. Okay, so what is the
Correct.
reason here, Hiren?
Yeah. That's a very interesting question maybe that you're asking. APS SD was the first course that Scrum.org came up with. I don't know if you're aware of that. That was one of the first courses. It was not the Scrum Master course. It was not the Product Owner course.
Wow.
It was
Mhm.
it was
Its name was PSD,
professional.
right?
It was
PSD.
professional Scrum developer.
Yeah.
Professional Scrum developer. That was the workshop that they came up with, and I think that was Ken's idea when he came out of Scrum Alliance that he's going to come up with this course and teach people how to do professional Scrum the right way, and especially it starts with the developers. So that's what he started, and I think PSD did good in some countries. But what I see, especially in my geography that I am in right now. So first is PSD is a 3 day course. PSD is not a 2 day course; it's a 3 day course,
Uh-huh.
and it can be very tool specific. So sometimes you can have .NET, sometimes you can have a Java
Java.
based class, and
Mhm.
sometimes you can have generic. But it feels more about tools and stuff, and every organization is different. And if you look in the past 10 to 14 years, the technology is changing at a very, very rapid pace. So sometimes to tie this class to the organization can become very, very difficult.
Uh-huh.
But we also have a very good course called APS or Professional Scrum Foundation that we had. So when I became the trainer, we had this class called Professional Scrum Foundation. It was not even documented well. We had one of the trainers who had created that course, and that person was no longer with scrum.org, but that course was available to use. Uh, it was a very wonderful course. It's about how do you do actual sprints and how do you learn it. And from there, that course has come a long way. So, off late, if there's a corporate workshop that comes to me and says, you know what, we want to learn Scrum, I never sell them professional Scrum Master. I say, you know what, professional Scrum Master is a bit later. It's more about, if you want to really do Scrum, you want to do APS workshop because it is right from CEO all the way to the foot soldier who's actually doing the work. You can put everyone in the team or in the room and you can teach them how to do Scrum the right way. And in that process, if they want to use some tools like what APS SD has to offer, feel free to use it. Feel free to
Uh-huh.
use it. There's no one who's stopping you from using it. But this course becomes very, very powerful course because it teaches you Scrum the right way. And once you understand Scrum right way, these tools and techniques is more of a implementation. It just happens. How to use GitHub, how to do your check-ins well, how to do version control and all that stuff. It becomes very easy nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But still, I think APS SD still remains one of a very good and powerful courses. But and I would say you're spot on when it says you say that most of the work is done by the developers. But why don't people use this APS SD? And I feel it is because no matter what you do, even the trainer has to be up to date, right? So for example, right now everything is AI specific.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do this APS SD course, you need to be on top of the game. So you can teach the course that can connect with the audience that is participating. So sometimes even the trainer, because for example, if you ask me to do it, I left coding long time back. I don't think I'm the right person to even offer this course because I will do injustice to the participants. So
Mm-hmm.
even though I'm certified to give that class, I'll say, you know what, I'm not the right person. We should look for a trainer who is still hands-on, and we have lots of trainers who are still very hands-on, and they are the right people to offer this class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But Hiren, what I am feeling is that generally we as PST community uh, are ignoring developers.
Oh, that's what you feel, okay? Why
Yeah,
would you say that?
yeah, because um, for example, when we have a PSM class, I usually ask them what is their current role. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
based on my statistics, most of them are business analysts, people who
Yeah.
want to start, or product manager, or project manager, or QA lead, or tester, or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't see too many developers joining my PSM class.
Correct.
So if we wanted to think, okay, people don't participate in APS SD class, I mean developers, so probably they will join other classes. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I don't know, PSM, but I don't see such a thing. It means most of, or the biggest part of a Scrum team, which is the developers, don't invest in themselves to learn
Yeah.
professional Scrum. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because of that, I feel that we are ignoring them, and it is our responsibility to, to offer something valuable and updated as well, as you mentioned. Okay.
Yeah.
That to the developers directly, and particularly to developers. We don't have such a thing right now. Hiren.
Yeah. So I'll give you some suggestions, right, if it
Uh-huh.
helps you.
Yeah.
So do you do corporate workshops, or most of the workshops are public workshops, open workshops?
Generally public workshops.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the open workshops, the APS workshop does not work that well. But if you ever do a corporate workshop, you should offer APS workshop, not APS SD. Offer them the APS workshop. APS workshop is a very, very hands-on workshop. And do you have the license to teach that course? Yes, APS.
APS, no, no, no.
You should absolutely take that. That should be first in your agenda.
Uh-huh.
Take the license for APS workshop, because APS workshop we do 4 sprints. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
imagine there are like 20 people in the class. We'll form 4 teams of 5 people each. And then there are multiple ways in which you can run the class. So the way I run is, we build a website. We build a zoo website for animals. So in week, we start with sprint number one, where we'll say, you know what, team number one, pick an animal. They might build a website for elephant. Some other team will build it for lion, and so on and so forth.
Uh-huh.
So first sprint is kind of a failure. We set it up that way. We teach them that, business agility is all about understanding and connecting with your stakeholders. Sprint two, once we teach them Scrum, we ask them to do sprint two. Then we do one more sprint, sprint three, where we get into the implements and stuff. And then sprint four, we bring all the teams together and we ask them to build a zoo website where there's a lot of collaboration. It feels more real life.
Mm.
And as they are doing this, they do sprint planning, they do daily Scrum, we do sprint review, we do sprint retrospective. In that class, we teach you 3 different ways of doing retrospective. It is a very, very powerful class. It just connects very well with the developers, uh, and it sets them up to do the right thing when they go back to work.
Mm.
Because APS class is a tactical class. It's a tactical hands-on class. PSM class is a very strategic class. It's about, when
The
I know
theory.
Scrum, it's more about, yeah, it's very strategic. It's more about case studies. How would you approach in this scenario? So it's more about mindset. If you look at PSM, it's more about mindset. If you look at Cindy problem, or if you look about how do you construct the teams, it's about mindset rather than Scrum Master being at the center. Scrum Master enables, facilitates. Very different.
Yeah. Mm.
So
Yeah, good
APS is
point.
something that you should look into for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Loved it. Loved it. Okay, hopefully the developers know about it, or corporates know about it, because at the end of the day, they are the customers of this service. No?
So normally customers come back, maybe, and they'll say, you know what, we want to learn Scrum. So in general, what I'll do is I'll just check with them who is the audience, what is their level of Scrum implementation,
Uh-huh.
have they been formally trained, and most of the times they'll come back and say, you know what, no, there is no training. We are doing by the books. I straight offer them APS workshop, and APS workshop, they actually do sprints and they are up and running. Uh, and APS and PSM, they both give the same certificate. So eventually the learnings and everything is the same also, because even APS covers self-management aspects and stuff. So if it's a corporate workshop where you have people who are going to do the hands-on work, ask them to do APS workshop. Try it out. I think you will enjoy it. And if you need help, I can definitely support you on that part.
Mm, cool, cool. Okay, so let's move on. Another question, a little bit more challenging, Hiren.
Yeah,
Yeah. How do you see the future of a Scrum?
yeah, it's a very, very challenging question, isn't it? And we are actually living that right now. So we'll go back in time, right? When I became trainer in 2015, Scrum.org had no brand in India. It had no brand. Nobody knew about Scrum.org. I will offer a class. I will publish a public class, and then I'll have one or two registrations. And but I still have to run the class. So I'll call my friends and everyone. I will even a hotel to book a hotel. They'll say we need a minimum 10 people guarantee, uh, because we are going to charge you for 10 people. So I'll pick people from here and there, my colleagues and stuff, and say, come attend the class with class for free, kind of. So they will attend it, and that's how I started running the class.
Mm,
Yeah. So Scrum.org did not have a name there because Scrum Alliance has taken over the market.
mm.
Post when I joined, the fees in Indian market was also very, very high. People cannot afford that type of fees.
Oh, at
So
that time, it was
comes
high. At
at
that.
that time, it was
Mhm,
very, very high. It was $200. It was same across the entire world, I believe. And then we had change in management. We had Dave, Eric, and others who came over, and they understood it. They realized that okay, there's a potential, but we need to think of this as a tertiary market. So there are some changes that happened. There was a lot more marketing that happened at that point in time, and things started changing. So
mhm,
I used to get corporates, they'll come and say, you know what, we want to learn Scrum, and they'll have 350 people. So we did batches after batches, teaching them, coaching them.
mm.
And that's how a lot of stuff started happening, that the Indian market was started growing at that point. And then we had some additional trainers and everything, everyone started joining. But there was a time when there was no market for Scrum.org. Come 2024, what has happened is Scrum.org is a big brand by itself. Big brand. We have our own name. But right now, what is happening is Scrum has kind of become more like a commodity.
Yeah.
It is no longer that novel thing. It is like when I studied my engineering in computer engineering, we had this book, Software Engineering by Pressman, and waterfall was the method that was listed over there. And we used to follow waterfall, right? And there was a spiral method then. Now, I think people just Scrum is like a de facto standard. Scrum is like part of their curriculum. People are talking about Scrum because the new crop that's coming out, they don't even know what waterfall is, because
Yeah.
Scrum is so much common sense. And we are seeing that, especially in the context where I am right now. In India, in the past 3.5 years, we had 110 unicorns, companies whose valuations are 1 billion or more. These are all startups. But just because of this agility, that rapidness, to conquer the opportunities, the market threads, respond quickly, improving the return of investment, reducing the risk. These guys are giving run for money to this big corporation. It is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you go back in time, right? So this is a very wonderful stat. In 1920s, a corporate like GE, they would be on the market for like good 60 to 70 years. That was the lifespan of the company.
Mhm.
Come 1960, it went to like 40 years. In the year 2020 and above, uh, the lifespan of a company is less than 15 years right now. And if you go back in time, in the past 24 years, uh, most of the companies that are making the stock market right on top of the stock market, they did not even exist then. Think about it, right? Where was Amazon? Where was Alphabet?
Yeah.
Where was Meta? They're not even there.
Yeah.
So things are turning at a very, very rapid pace. Scrum is de facto standard. So future of Scrum, I don't know honestly. I think it is going to be a part of our DNA. So what does it mean to you and me? That's a different question because currently the market is frozen. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, 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 I agree. From
What
my
are your
point,
thoughts?
yeah, from my point of view, Hiren, I think uh, we will have this way of working because the foundation of a Scrum is empiricism. We will have it, okay? However, maybe it's just my feeling. Maybe we lose the name of a Scrum. Okay, maybe we have
Yeah,
other names for that or an improved, version of it or something like this. But at the end of the day, we will have empirical way of working, and
yeah,
uh, and maybe we need to be more specific based on the market segments. For example,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
maybe we have a specific Scrum for, I don't know, healthcare. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just my feeling? No, I don't know if
Yeah,
it will
yeah,
happen or not, but it is just my feeling because at the moment, although co-creators of Scrum that I wholeheartedly respect them, they say
yeah,
that, for example, Scrum is generic that now can be used in various domains. I feel still it needs more work to be used effectively in other, domains.
yeah, yeah.
So
I agree with you on that.
yeah, so probably we will have some, place of work to focus
Mm-hmm.
on to help other fields to start benefiting from Scrum. It can be an opportunity for us. Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah. Absolutely. And again, if you look at it, right, we all live a Scrum day, isn't it, Mehdi?
Uh-huh.
Right from the morning we wake up, we have our backlog.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we are going to wake up, we are going to freshen up, we are going to go to the gym, we are going to go to the office, we are going to do this work. So in the morning, you come up, you pick up your sprint backlog and say, no, this is what I'm going to do. This is the goal that I want to do. Mid of the day, we do the daily Scrum. Towards the end, we review it and see whether we met our goal. And then you do retrospective. How can I make tomorrow better than today? That's what we do. So if you look at it, Scrum is so much common sense and it has been documented so beautifully.
Yeah, I agree.
And what I feel the real problem is in the industry is people think they understand Scrum. People think I just did a couple of workshops and people were boasting, no, we do safe and we do this and but when they attended the workshop and when they understood what is professional Scrum, they were like, oh my God, we are just doing waterfall in the name of Scrum. In first sprint, we are doing the development. In the second sprint, we are doing the functional testing, and then we are doing the integration testing, and then we are doing the regression testing. So basically, they are not seeing business agility. So the way Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland, what they envisioned was, if Scrum can be reduced to one thing and one thing only, it is you need to have it done increment by end of the sprint at least once. So this is how they envisioned. But to understand that concept, it takes lot of effort and lot of time. They will come with lots of excuses. Excuse, oh, you don't understand. We have big monolithic piece of code. No, I understand it. You don't understand because if you do not change, if you do not do anything different, giving the same input and expecting different output is called insanity. So you guys need to understand that this monolithic piece of code is going to hurt you if you're having dependencies, internal dependencies, external dependencies. And if you're saying you know about this, but if you're not doing something about it, that's a problem. If you understand that my leaders are saying, you know what, we talk a lot about Scrum, but when we come to walking the talk, they shy away, then that is your problem. So start fixing your dysfunctions one day at a time
Mm.
because that is going to give you business agility and that people need to understand. And I think that is where we need to do the work. And I think uh, if given an opportunity, I think this is the single message that we as a community to take over there and say, you know what? Yes, if you're doing it, invite us. Let us look at your artifact. Let us guide you. Let us help you to see whether you're doing professional Scrum or the word superficial Scrum that you used or waterfall Scrum. That is the case, there's scope of improvement because your company can go way ahead from where it is right
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah. Okay. So, what else? You asked me a question. Here.
Yeah. So I was thinking, you have been trainer now. This is what your third year now. You became in 2020. This is your fourth year.
20, no, 2022. It is
So this is a two
two.
years, isn't
Yeah,
it? 2 years,
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
So it's very interesting, right? Let me ask, and I'm sure you will ask this to other trainers also when you interview them. What was the most difficult student that you had in the class? And
Oh,
how did you handle him or her, whichever pronoun
yeah,
you want to use?
yeah. Let's be honest. It was in my first class
Uh-huh.
after becoming a PST, and it was an Indian person, should say. And when he came to my class, based on his perception, he expected just uh, I teach Jira in class.
Yeah.
So every hour he asked me something about Jira. Okay. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, why don't you talk about Jira, Mehdi? I am here to learn Jira. Scrum is Jira or something like this. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible. And because it
Yeah.
was my first class, I wasn't that experienced, as
Yeah.
offering PSM class. And it was kind of scary. I don't want to hide it, to be
Yeah. Yeah.
honest. But finally, I could manage it
Yeah.
after 2 days. Um, because I had experience about working Jira, so my intention was to answer his question as much as I could, but the intention of the class was not about talking about Jira, the PSM class.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
more or
It can be very
less,
challenging.
yeah,
Yeah.
more or less, I managed it. But the interesting point was that after the class, he gave me 1 star of review
Mm-hmm.
on Scrum.org.
Scrum.org. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
definitely. And my effort was not effective to manage him because it was the
Yeah.
result. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a memory that the most challenging person I
How
had.
would you do it? How would you handle him? How would you handle such person now that you have 2 years of experience?
Yeah, I'm very direct when someone asks such a question. I will say it is out of the scope of the class and it's not the intention of the class. So please change your perception of the class. We are here to create our Scrum mindset, not just focusing on a single tools like Jira.
Absolutely. That's courage, isn't it? So
Yeah, yeah,
eventually, we learn through our own experiences, isn't it? It is
yeah,
always
yeah,
that way.
yeah. And just for your
Very, very.
information, Hiren, I used to be a trainer in Euro market for since I should say 2017. Yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to work as a trainer, but it was my first class as a PST. Okay.
Yes, yes,
So it
yes,
made it,
absolutely.
yeah, challenging. Yeah.
So on the same topic, right? It's a very interesting topic that you brought up. So now you have been teaching in Iran.
Yeah.
I believe you use the Persian language over there when you
Yeah.
teach.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
local language?
Definitely.
Yeah, Persian
Yeah.
language. Yeah. And now you're teaching. You're staying in Netherlands, and you're teaching a lot of European students. You're also teaching a lot of Indian students, for that matter.
Definitely.
How do you see the culture? Is the culture different across the world? And do you see that in your class when people come and attend it?
Um, to be honest, no. My short answer is no. But what I have seen up to now is Indian people uh, are more energetic to learn things. This is my
Hmm.
perception. Okay.
Yeah.
Specifically, they are really, on time people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever I run a class for Indian people, they are in. They are
Yeah.
completely in to learn what I want to transfer to them. So this is the only thing that I have seen about the difference between people in India or Europe people. It doesn't mean European people are not good people. No, no. Generally, it is my
Yeah.
understanding.
Generally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do people start the cameras in your training? And if not,
No.
what do you do?
No, to be honest, they don't open their camera. Indian people don't, but
Yeah.
European people, yes, they open their camera. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Even I asked them several times, people, if it is possible, please open your videos, but they don't. I don't know.
Yeah. And how do you feel as a trainer? So this is a very interesting
So,
topic for me,
yeah,
because if I see a black screen in front of me, if there are 20 people, it's just me on the camera, I lose the energy very, very quickly, because
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, I'm talking to the wall. I don't even know what people are doing or how they're reacting or they're responding. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, you are right. When I'm in that situation, I feel alone. And I directly share this feeling with participants. And I say, hey guys, if you don't open your videos, I feel that I'm talking with wall.
Absolutely.
Some of
Agreed.
them open their videos, but after one session, again, they close their videos.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but even specifically when they come back from breaks, when their videos are closed, I don't know if they are back or not.
Isn't
And
that
I,
true? Isn't
I
that
I
true?
say, hey guys, are you back or not? And yeah, they
Yeah.
say, yes, yes, Mehdi, we are back. And I say, oh, please open your video. Why not?
Yeah. It's a challenge, isn't it? So in the working agreement, so what I do is in the working agreement, I try to put this, please keep the cameras on.
Uh-huh.
And when I start the class, I'll say, you know what, you start the cameras, guys. People won't start. So I said, okay, if you're not going to start, I'll also shut my camera. So I shut my camera. Then I just go silent for like 3 minutes. I'll just not talk anything. I'll
Oh,
just stay silent, right? And that vacuum is very, very difficult to fill. So what happens is people will start coming on the camera slowly. Yeah.
that's a
Uh,
good experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll say, you know what, see, how do you feel? That's exactly how I feel when I do not see you on the camera, right? And then I'll start my camera. It works most of the times, but still you'll have sometimes, and there are two types of people, right? In the training also, there are two types of people. So if you're doing open workshop or public workshop,
Uh-huh.
most of the times it is self-sponsored. So I'm paying the money from my pocket to attend it. Because I'm paying the money from my pocket, I'm going to be very, very serious. I want to learn maximum. I want to get
Yeah.
100% out of Mehdi. Just you have to tell me everything that you know about Scrum. And I'm going to rub on this and I'm going to pull that energy from you.
Yeah.
But if the same person is being sponsored by the company, and then the same person has been asked to go over the weekend when it is his personal time or her personal time, they just feel, they are like, yeah, I don't know, I don't want to go, I want to spend time with my family, but someone is forcing me to go over there. So they come half-hearted in the class. And when
Mm.
they come half-hearted in the class, they are always distracted, because if this is a machine, I can switch very, very quickly. I can check my emails, I can check the stock options, I can do whatever I
Uh-huh.
want, right? So anyway, there's a lot of distraction. And on top of it, if there is no motivation to attend the training, uh, then it becomes a serious problem. Serious problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good experience. I will use it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
This is
Definitely. And maybe
nice.
one good experience that I have in my classes that I have learned is being completely patient to answer all questions and queries. I
Yes.
realized that people appreciate it, you know.
Yes.
And one of the things that I do at the end of the class, I ask directly people that to write a review about my class on a scrum.org, because this is my
Hmm.
business, okay? And their review can help future students to make their decisions with
Hmm.
information, okay? And
Absolutely.
usually I see that when they write reviews on scrum.org, they say Mehdi was completely patient to answer all our queries and questions, and we appreciate it. So I
Hmm.
realized it is a big value in
Yes.
their eyes. Okay. So I need
Indeed.
to show it better and better authentically. So
Yes.
it is one
Yes.
of the things that I discovered, and I do it every time better, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
these are human values, isn't it, Mehdi?
yeah,
Respect and humility. We cannot live with respect and humility in whatever circumstances. You have to be respectful of every diverse population that we have in the class because everyone is different. Everyone's motivation is different. Everyone
yeah,
wants a different thing to come out of this class. Some people say, I just want certificate. Some say, I really want to learn. So everyone has different motivation. So as a trainer, we have to look everyone with the same yardstick, not measure them, but see them as the same yardstick and help them get the best out of them for themselves. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So respect and humility, I think it just remains. We just have to appreciate that for ourselves as a trainer.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I agree. Okay. Our time is about to be up. Maybe one last question. Usually, we ask our guests to introduce a few valuable books. Okay.
Hmm.
So it is your turn, Hiren,
Yeah.
to introduce some books. Uh-huh. The
Uh, Dance of Disruption and Creation. Definitely read
wow.
this book.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Who wrote it?
This is an amazing book. It is Professor Nandu Nandakishore is the author. In fact, I'm doing a course on AI from an institute called ISB in India,
Uh-huh.
and I was happy to have this person as a professor. Even it is recorded videos that he has, but he has a very good knack of storytelling. And I just found this book to be very helpful uh, in understanding what disruptive innovation is all about, how uh, and what can leaders do. It's about leaders' mindset. And I believe Scrum, apart from creating that done increment every sprint, it is nothing but we are like psychologists for the Scrum team, for the organization, where we have to go and help them build that mindset. So
Mhm.
that's the other thing that we all need to focus as a community. It's about changing that mindset, steering the ship in the right direction. And this book can be very helpful.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. The other name again, please.
It is Nandu Nandakishore, Nandu,
Uh-huh.
Nandkishore. I'll send you the details and you can put it in the video notes if you're
Yeah.
going to put some over there.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. And
What
is
is your
there?
recommendation? Now that
Yeah.
you asked me, let me ask you, what is your
Yeah.
recommendation?
Yeah. I have brought my favorite book. Can you see?
It
Uh,
is 12 Power
12 Power Principles for Success.
Success.
Okay.
Very nice.
By
Okay.
Mr. Bob Proctor. He's
Doctor.
gone, and he was one of the greatest people all around the world who had been working personal development for more than 60 years. 60
Nice.
years. And I used their service as the personal development coaching. I really loved their course. It was a
Mm-hmm.
1 year course, 1 year
Wow.
course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about our beingness, how you can create a professional identity. The way we think, the way we feel, the way we act should be in harmony
Yeah.
with each other. Then you will see
Yeah.
and experience the world with another way, with a new
Yeah.
eye. So I really love this book, 12 Power Principles. Every single principle is an eye-opening principle.
Yeah.
And when you read it for the first time, you see some simple sentences or words. But
Mm-hmm.
as I was their student, I know how these words are valuable if you
Good.
understand them. So I
Yes.
really, recommend this book for people who want to create a new identity. Yeah.
Very nice. I'm going to get that book for sure. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. The
Very
next book,
nice.
the second book, Hiran, you go.
Yeah. I think that was one book that I do read lots and lots of books. What else can I tell you about? Something that I like. Pa- 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 pa. Now that you asked me, I'm going to say something and I'm going to show you something.
Uh-huh.
This is called Bhagavad Gita. Let me share my screen.
Okay. Uh-huh.
This is called Bhagavad Gita. This is basically, uh, it's like Bible. If you think of Christians have Bible, and in Muslims you have Quran.
Yeah.
We have something called Bhagavad Gita. It's about spirituality. If you are into spirituality, if you're into mindfulness, this is something that I definitely recommend that you should absolutely read. Absolutely read.
Wow. Is it in English?
It is in English, yes.
Oh,
It is in
okay.
English. Yeah.
Wow.
And if you're interested, I can point out to some good notes and stuff which you can look into. And there are a lot of videos out there.
Mm,
But again, if you're into the spirituality, if you believe in that there is some supreme being that is monitoring us, watching us, and helping us out, guiding us all the time, uh, then that's your book for sure. You definitely need to look into it.
wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is my turn for the second book. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My second book is in the Scrum world,
Hmm.
Mastering Professional Scrum
It's
with
a good book.
Simon
Stephanie
Rindel.
and Simon.
Yeah, yeah. I really love that book, specifically when I was preparing myself for the PSM3 exam. It really helped me, really.
Yeah.
And so for people who want to understand Scrum deeply, I suggest this book.
Yeah. All our professional series books are really, really good
Yeah,
because what they do is they take the entire curriculum and they give depth to the entire curriculum in that book.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we have introduced 4 books. Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You took me
So
by surprise, by the way, about the books. I was not prepared for that question, but I'm
that's
glad you
okay.
asked that.
That's okay, Hiran. Hiran, we are almost there. Any comments, sentences, I don't know, saying to wrap up our conversation?
I enjoyed, Mehdi. Thank you so much for setting up the time and doing this series of your story. I really, really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. I The hour just flew by. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing more videos from you as you prepare those.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hiran. And I love this style of doing this interview because it was a mutual interview. It was the first time that we did such a thing. So I appreciate it. And of course, appreciate that you accepted my invitation to be here. It was an honor.
Sure, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It must be my pleasure. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.